Name the fighters Crawford fought who would beat Triple G. That Spence, that Crawford fought, that Kell Brook, that Crawford fought, that Sean Porter, that Crawford fought, would any of them beat Callum Smith at 168? I'm not sure how many fighters Crawford fought would beat the Miguel Cotto that Canelo fought. This is what I'm trying to say. When it comes to skill, experience has a lot to do with it. Case in point, you get an Austin Trout, you get a Caleb Plant, you get a Lara, you get a Floyd Mayweather, you get a Bivol. Just those five, when it comes to experience, gives him the right experience that when he fights Crawford, he's not like, I don't know what this is like. There's not one fighter Crawford fought that would give him the experience against Canelo.
All right, we're going to crush this real simple. Actually, what he said is logical. It makes sense. It's just wrapped up in fanboy rhetoric. So that's why, you know, it's like Swiss cheese. It's holy. But we could do something simple just like this. If he's saying experience counts for the majority of skills and experience pays the bills, peep this. If experience is everything, and that's what he got over Crawford, and that's what makes him the more skilled fighter. So if experience is the one winning the nugget at the end of the day, then why doesn't Canelo fight David Benavidez? He obviously has more experience than David Benavidez, obviously. Okay? David Benavidez hasn't fought anybody close to preparing him for Canelo Alvarez, obviously. Yet it's a fight they don't want to take. So let me ask you a question. How much does skills, how much does experience pay the bills when he doesn't even want to fight David Benavidez, somebody who has nowhere near the experience level of a Canelo Alvarez? Answer that question. Answer it. Because in that case, he should be able to blow through David, because Canelo got tons of experience over David, yet he's scared to fight him, and so is his fan base. Why is that? Answer the question. Why is it? Canelo's obviously got the experience. That's what you're saying he got over Crawford, and that would gives him a higher skill level. And incorrect, wrong, on the right track, but too much manipulating. But to the trained listener, to the trained eye, to the initiated, it's bullshit, okay? Because I'm going to tell you why. Experience counts for what? When you say somebody is experienced, what are you saying? They have experience on the back end of fights. They have knowledge, okay? So experience equals knowledge, okay? What is knowledge without execution? It's almost no point in having the knowledge, right? Okay, so what happens when that experience tells you you need to cut off the ring, but you physically can't do it? Now tell me, where does experience play a role, and how does that help you out? You know what to do, but can you do it? Do you have the skill set to do what your experience and your knowledge is telling you that you need to do? So what happens when that experience and that knowledge tells you to cut off the ring? Canelo can't cut off the ring. So now what? See, we can mirror it back to David Benavidez. David Benavidez don't got none of the stuff that Canelo has. None of the experience, none of the fights, none of the nothing. So he should be a cakewalk based off experience. Yet they don't want to step in that ring with him. Because at the end of the day, experience, although it plays a role into skill, experience is not skill. It's not. Does it play a role? Does it play a factor? Yes. But what happens when you can't execute? That's when raw skills step in. And there's nothing that Canelo does better than Terrence Crawford. Nothing. There's nothing that he does that's better than Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford has the skills. Now, at the same time, you guys always hear me say that the most skilled fighter is not necessarily always the fighter that wins. Okay, this is the other element that he speaks of that does play a role. Because sometimes it's not just experience that gets them to win over somebody who has more skill than them. Sometimes people just have a flat out better character. That's an aspect of boxing that people are dragging their feet on in understanding. People don't understand Cus D'Amato and why he put so much on character and the mental development in the brain and how the man is. If you could tell me how the man is, I could tell you how he's going to be as a fighter. People haven't made the psychological connection between that and boxing yet. Something that Cus D'Amato, based his whole training philosophy around, penetrating the mind and the brain first. He realized where it started. So with that being said, a guy who come in wearing platform shoes, a guy who we know wouldn't even be here if he didn't have the favor of the WBC, if he wasn't allowed to cheat, if referees wasn't on his side, and all the cherry picking. We know Canelo wouldn't be here, okay? Canelo need a lot of handicaps in order for him to be what he is. Crawford is what he is while going against the grain, while trying to be stopped, while having, fighting against gravity. Okay? That's what Crawford is. And at the end of the day, Crawford got the skills, he got the will, and he got the mental discipline. He got the character. He's stronger than Canelo up top, and he's stronger than Canelo physically. And people are picking up on that now because they know they can't brag about the power. They know they can't talk about the young. They know they can't talk about the old. So now they talk about, Canelo has the experience. So that's what makes him more skilled. No, Terrence Crawford is more skilled. Canelo just has more experience. That's it. But if you can't act on that knowledge of that experience, like cutting off the ring, not dragging your feet, not being a stick in the mud, you know what I'm saying? Not just laying up on the ropes when somebody getting the best of you, blah, blah, blah. If you don't have the skills to back up the knowledge, then what's the point of the knowledge? The same point, what's the point of having knowledge without execution? You see what I'm talking about? So it makes all the sense in the world, but there's more elements to boxing. And you can't say because somebody has more experience in going 12 rounds, high profile fights, that they're better suited for the situation. Because we could break it down even further. Since it's all about experience, in that case, I would say Crawford has more legit experience than Canelo because Canelo's been cherry picking. Look at the people he said, Callum Smith, a cherry pick because he didn't want to fight David Benavidez. Just like we're here right now with Terrence Crawford. We're here because he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, the guy who he has more experience than. Right? Then they talk about Triple G. Triple G aged like milk. We all know Canelo aged him out. And did you just bring up Miguel Cotto? You mean the Miguel Cotto that Floyd Mayweather fought 5 years early and y'all said was too old for Floyd? But 5 years later, he was young and in his prime for Canelo? No, he fought a worn down Miguel Cotto. And we all know that. And he struggled like a motherfucker. And that's Canelo's first legitimate big win was an old Miguel Cotto. His other legitimate winner is an old Triple G, which most people don't even think he won, especially not both fights. And Callum Smith was a cherry pick. These are your examples. If you ask me, Crawford has more experience with elite fighters. And when I mean elite fighters, people that's going to step in there and actually fight. People that step in there. Jamel wasn't trying to fight no Canelo. Caleb Plant wasn't trying to fight no Canelo. The only person who went in there and really tried to take Canelo's head off was Triple G. The only real fight out of that he had was Laura. Everything else has been a soft touch. And he thought he was going to do the same thing with Bivol. But Bivol showed him what time it is. Hey, and you know what? Don't he got more experience than Bivol? So what happened there? So you can't bank all that shit on that. These people are just, they're not only looking for an excuse for you, they're looking for an excuse for themselves, man. Honestly, they trying to wrap their head around how can they take Canelo losing to Terrence Crawford. So they coming up with everything. They They can't make up their mind whether he's old and looking slow, or he went from old and looking slow till he's back in his prime and all this. They went from Terrence Crawford is too small. Now it ain't about how small he is no more. Now it's about the skill set. And then they went from that to power. And then they realized they can't really look down on Crawford in any category. So they sticking with something that, he can't catch up in. And that's experience. But as far as professional, Canelo been boxing longer and at a younger age, man. But if you want to bank it all up on experience, David Benavidez is right there, green as shit. Why wouldn't we want to catch him as green? Why would we want him to get more experience? Okay? So experience was the name of the game. We would have a Benavidez fight, but we don't have one. So you can't hang your hat up on Canelo fought this person, so therefore he's more prepared. So therefore he's seen this style. So this means he has more skill. No, it don't mean he has more skill. It just means he has more experience fighting people that's more similar like Crawford than Crawford may have fought people like him. And this is the thing. Y'all miscategorizing Crawford. For one, you bring up Triple G and Floyd and all that stuff. Crawford is a hybrid of what you would see in a Triple G and Floyd. If anything, that's the perfect way to describe Crawford. He's Triple G, Floyd, and like Hagler, or you could say Hagler and Floyd. He's not just going to be boxing and sticking and all that stuff. He's going to do all of it. He's going to show you that he's stronger than you. He's going to show you that he can outpoint you. He's going to show you that he has a better jab than you. He's also going to show you that you can't back him up, that you can't intimidate him. And he's going to show you that he's the bigger man and you're locked in there with him. He's not locked in there with you. Y'all should know this about Crawford. You should know this. But on fight night, we gonna see. But if you talk about experience makes him more skilled, that's a fucking lie. Okay, that don't make you more skilled. You can have the knowledge, but not have the fucking skill to execute the fucking knowledge. So I don't want to hear that. And Canelo can't execute a lot. Let's face it. He's still got a problem with people with jabs. He's still got a problem with stickers and movers. Okay? So y'all gonna have to come up with another reason because this stuff ain't good enough. And we here now. It's no reason to keep trying to attack people's resumes. If his resume's so bad, don't that make Canelo look bad for fighting him? See, but we can't have no conversation about that. Y'all ass backwards out there, bro. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Van, I'm out.